What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So we have a new trailer review and reaction for a film that's actually been out for a minute now. It is actually something that has been out for almost a year. So this film that we're going to get into, as you can see just from the headline here, a succubus feeds on fear in Russian horror film, The Demoness. Now, this film does go by a completely different name when it was first released. It actually went by Succubus. This film was originally released back in early mid-April 2024. It was only released in Russia at the time, and it's, at least that's all I can find. Let's just put it that way. And the gross total for the box office was just over $160,000. It's an hour and 36 minutes long, so it is one of those films that didn't get, I don't think, enough attention, especially if it only released in one region. Didn't make a lot of money at the box office, at least, you know, from a U.S. perspective. $160,000 at the box office wouldn't have been much to really, talk about, which is probably why it got forgotten for almost a year. But now it's coming back up. It's going to be hitting streaming here soon in the US, going again by the name of The Demoness. So let's jump into some of these article details, and we're actually going to take a look at the trailer here in a minute. So, an ancient spirit feeds on fear and brings out the darkest side in people when it takes human form in The Demoness. And it says, check out the trailer below. It says it looks something like Temptation Island meets Jennifer's Body. Formerly titled Succubus, the Russian horror film hits digital on February 11th from Wellgo USA. A Blu-ray and DVD release follows on May 27th exclusively through Amazon. An erotic island retreat plays host to an exclusive couples retreat designed to rekindle the flames of passion when Stacy and her boyfriend arrive. The sexy fun is quickly interrupted by a malevolent entity that feeds on their pain. And then we have the casting here, and then here's a link to the trailer, and we have a first poster, at least the only poster I could find for this film is here. And again, the original poster has the name, the Succubus or Succubus, on it. So this one has the changed name or updated name, The Demoness. So one thing I do find interesting about this is just this first part of the synopsis or summary, we'll call it, is that it takes the form of someone's darkest side in people, and then tries to use that either against them or against somebody that they know. So it'll be interesting to see how they portray that in the trailer. I do like the concept. So for example, if it takes human form and tries to either use that person's form, their form or their darkest side, or tries to then bring out the darkest side in somebody else, that will be an interesting take. But if it's Temptation Island meets Jennifer's Body, I can only imagine where this could go. So let's pull up the trailer and see what this one is about.
Welcome to Little Isdale Island. We've been expecting you. Javier and Jean, Nick and Kate, Stacy and Michael, Andy and Olivia. An unforgettable experience awaits.
It's a little weird, but it's quite exciting.
I woke up and you were already gone.
I saw you with him.
Hi, Andy. Did something happen between you two?
And I didn't see anyone, by the way.
Well, I did. And I saw the way you looked at her.
Who made this?
My sister got through that door and nothing.
If everything is as you say, then it's dangerous to go there alone.
I've been through a lot. I only look fragile. If we were kids, I'm sure your parents wouldn't let you talk to me.
I wouldn't listen.
He's mentioned in occult texts all over the world. In Europe, he was called the Succubus. This demon can take anyone's form in order to awaken its victim's darkest vices. You think I'm crazy?
Let's leave this place as fast as we can.
You're not leaving the island.
So what are we thinking? I'm thinking on this one. So one thing we'll start off right off the bat. You can tell as far as from a budget perspective, it's on that side of very independent, very low budget, which I want to point out right away that means absolutely nothing, especially in the horror genre. We've seen very independent, very low budget films turn out to be a massive success, gain cult following, and then turn into a completely money-making franchise. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen with this film. All I'm saying is that just based on the trailer, where I'm not going to completely pass judgment on this one. So we have 4 couples. You can tell, I can definitely see now from the synopsis where they're throwing the thought of this looks like Temptation Island, because it, as the trailer mentioned, it is utilizing this creature to then take form. Let's say, for example, if one of the couples, there's 4 of them, takes shape of one of the individuals in that couple and tries to get the other one to act out their darkest secrets or their darkest fantasies. Because we did see a couple times where you can tell it happened to 1 or 2 of the couples, and then that individual couldn't remember or recall what was going on because they're like, I wasn't there. We did briefly see the arm of this creature grab one of the females when they were in the woods, reaching for what looked like the pocket watch that was shown a couple of times. So we did see that. We also saw the shadow of the creature towards the end. And there was a quick snippet. Couldn't tell which female from which couple it was, but they were pulling back the shirt or clothing from their neck, and there was like this wound on the back of her neck, almost to be like that's where the creature would somehow attach to one of them in order to suck their blood, in order to potentially utilize that's the way that they somehow shapeshift into that individual, right? So that's what it looks like. And it also looks like this is going to be one of those situations where you have 4 couples, who's going to survive the night, so to speak, right? Who's going to survive the retreat? I do see where this has some bits of a darkness to it. I do like the story. I do like the concept. I just hope it can, even though it looks very independent, I hope it can deliver. The one thing I will also say I don't necessarily care for, and I know a lot of films do this, especially when they are international films that are coming into the US, you can tell that as the trailer was put together, it was obviously done in Russian because it's a Russian horror film. And so you have this English talkover. So every time you hear the talkover, they are trying to show you a scene where you weren't seeing like someone's lips moving. That way you couldn't see the audio not matching up, right? I don't necessarily care for the dub over. I hope that when it does release on digital and on the physical, you get it in its actual Russian spoken language. And then if you want to do an English dub over, if you want to hear that, you can hear that, or if you want to read the subtitles, read the subtitles. Otherwise, I want to see it in its true form. That's just me personally. I don't care if there's subtitles or not. I'm for one, I can follow along with subtitles and still watch a movie. So I think this one has a good chance. I think this one looks pretty decent comparing to many of the other ones in its company. Now, again, I'm not saying this one's going to be an absolute smash and blockbuster, but again, I like the story. I like the concept. We're seeing a lot of these low mid-range horror films coming out towards the end of last year into this year. I do feel 2025 is going to be a very heavy horror year, and this is just one more that's coming out. Much of what we've seen thus far is coming out on digital of films that were released last year or even as late as 2023. That were international films, only released in a couple regions, and then are now getting a US release through digital, through streaming platforms. So it is good to see that we're starting to get a more mix of films coming out now from the international market on top of what we're seeing in theaters. So All right, that's going to do it for today's trailer review and reaction. Let us know down in the comment section, what do you think about the Demoness, also known by Succubus? And again, Russian horror film. Let us know what you think. Are you interested in seeing it come February when it drops on digital? And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And to all the new and existing subscribers, thank you truly for all the support. It is greatly appreciated. And we will see you at the next one. Peace.